I was walking outside and I ran into two people and asked them if they would come in and chat with you, and they said they would. So let's have a conversation. She is an Emmy-nominated actress. She's way too talented for this earth. She plays the strong, powerful mother to Venus and Serena Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, Aunjanue Ellis.
Stop it. I can't stop it.
I didn't have to tell you guys. You guys just did it. It's good. It's awesome. You guys recognize real. Next up, West Philadelphia born and raised. He is the producer, the actor, and as of yesterday, novelist. Ladies and gentlemen, two-time Academy Award nominee, Will Smith.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Wow. Nice little welcome. Is that how people welcome you when you come home?
That's all we've got time for, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. That's beautiful. That's I've walked into these rooms sometimes when they didn't like the movie as much. There's like 6 people left in the front. Just talk about everything but the movie.
Listen, the response in the room is indicative of the truth here that King Richard is fantastic. You guys did good. You guys are very good. Let's start with you, Mr. Smith. You are a producer on this film. You are starring in it, and you give...
I did craft service.
Oh, yeah.
Really, you did. You did.
She's like, not joking, guys. Why the story of Venus and Serena and their family at this point in your career? Why did you choose this project for yourself?
Well, first of all, Zach Balin wrote an incredible screenplay. You can tell with those kind in the first really 10 or 15 pages, you know if the writer has it, and literally right from the top, I was excited. And probably about 20 years ago, there was an interview that we depicted in the film, the one when Richard interrupts the interviewer and says, "You are dealing with the image of a 14-year-old child, and she won't be playing tennis when your old ass and me is in the grave." And I remember I saw that in real time, and I remember the look on Venus's face, right? It was almost a smirk, right? And Richard had been so vilified and so villainized in the world. And when I saw that, I wasn't looking at Richard, I wasn't looking at the interview, I was looking at Venus. And the look was that she had a lion that was going to protect her, and that lion would kill and maim and destroy anything or anybody that tried to hurt her. And it gave her this sense of of confidence. And I remember at the time thinking, that's how I want my kids to look when I show up. Right? So I had already had respect for Richard, and I could see there was something different that was happening than what was the public imagery. So I was really excited to have the possibility to dive into what the heck was going on in that house. You know, what was going on in that marriage, and what was going on in that family to produce the #1 and #2 greatest players ever, right? Like that's bizarre, right? That's like at the peak of Michael Jordan and winning his championships, and Michael Jordan is playing against his brother Miguel in Los Angeles, right? And the #1 and #2, it's like that level. You know, Tiger Woods and his brother, #1 and #2. It's like, it's impossible. So I was excited to explore that.
I love how his brother was Miguel.
Yeah,
that was the best part.
Nah, I've been on tour, so I'm tired, so my comment is a little off. Michael, I was thinking, I'll come up with a better name, right?
But in the combo, we'll have a good name. We're going.
Clayton. Clayton.
Good strong name. Aunjanue. You are phenomenal in this.
You better take these flowers, girl. You better take these flowers.
Keep taking them. It's a great moment for you, and you attack it with like a force I haven't seen before. One in your career, but also in recent memory in a film that showcases a family that's about one thing. It's about, you know, a father raising the kids, but a woman asserting herself and saying, I am just as equally a part of this story as anyone else. Can you talk about your approach to her and then how you executed it?
I wanted to tell the truth about Miss Oracene Price, and they did these epic interviews of Miss Price. Zach Balin, our wonderful director, Ronaldo Marcus Green, and Will as well. They did these wonderful epic interviews of her, and the great thing about that is I got the opportunity to listen to Miss Oracene tell her own story. And the truth of that came out of that was that she was a co-conspirator in this crazy, you know, maniacal dream that they had. And thankfully, I was working with filmmakers like Will, like Zach, like Ray, and Isha Price, her daughter who was on set with us every day, who were insisting that we did not do the tropey wife that we've seen 1,000 times, where you have the heroic man and the woman, you know, who does not have a say. And we all wanted to tell the truth because we wanted to give Miss Oracene her flowers, her voice. Yeah.
For you both, you already mentioned him, but we have to talk about Afro-Latino director Reynaldo Marcus Green, who has a distinct vision. How did you both work with him to get to the place where you guys could bring these characters to life?
Yeah, for me, what was really great with Ray, Ray was on the edge of being a professional baseball player. So his father had worked with him through the similar type of teenage into the early 20s with baseball. So, you know, Ray had specific opinions, and now he has his own children. So, and my father was military. My father was a, very, very firm disciplinarian. And I had my own children. So Ray and I connected on the pros and cons of different parenting approaches. And so we were both very familiar with the things that we had felt were unsuccessful with us as children, and then the things that we were attempting to try with as parents. So we were very focused and attentive. And the thing that we discovered, and we did interviews with Venus, and the thing that we discovered with Richard that was a very Venus called it the Jedi mind trick. Jedi mind trick that Richard did is the images that he was forcing them to play tennis, and that's sort of the standard picture we have of a driving parent pushing their child. And Venus said, no, he did something different. He tricked us into begging him to let us play tennis. Right? And as far as Richard and Oracene were concerned, tennis was almost fifth on the list of what this family was doing. You know, God, faith, family, contribution to the human family, education, all of those things had to be in order before they were allowed to play tennis. And while this family was devoted to tennis, they were devoted to one another and to being a functioning, contributing family to the world. They were making great humans. You know, that was above everything. And they were really using tennis as the target that they were working on in order to achieve the goal of just building powerful humans. You know, Venus said it used to be their punishment was they couldn't play tennis. Right? That's when they got in trouble. They couldn't play tennis. And Serena used to she would take socks and rubber bands and be hitting against the wall in her room. And so that was really the magic of what Richard and Oracene were able to do. It was they weren't demanding, they were aligning with their children's desires, and they were working together with what their children wanted and what their family wanted. And it was a very unique environment.
Regarding Ray, he's the most enthusiastic, one of the most enthusiastic directors that I've ever worked with. He had the same energy in January of 2020 that he had our last day in December of 2020. He was a walking cheerleader for us, and he just gave us the space to play, which I loved. But then he would come in with just the right word to say, to give us something that gave shape.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, he's genius in that way.
Yeah, Ray understands people, and that's what's really good. And you know, some directors love images. You know, some directors love movement. You know, and Ray loves people. Ray loves actors. Ray loves emotion. You know, so it's a very different thing. What a director's paying attention to is a big part of what you experience in the theater.
Awesome. Because you mentioned it before, I'm starting to open with this. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all the vets out there.
Yeah, there you go.
This film, it has a great cast. John Bernthal, Tony Goldwyn, who at 61 looks better than me now. Like, what the hell?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Damn. And
those were his real legs in those shorts. No special effects.
For the short shorts in this movie.
You have to start,
I'm just saying.
You have to start shorts line now. Like, it's definitely going to come from this movie. And for me, as someone who is very big on diversity representation, as a Puerto Rican black man, I see the future of cinema, Black Girl Magic, existing in Saniyya, Sidney, and Demi, Singleton. They are a gift. They let me know it's going to be okay. We're gonna have a future. It's gonna go well. Can you talk about working with those girls, especially Saniyya, who did not play tennis before? Did not play tennis.
No, neither of them played tennis. They both learned for the film, and
now they're number 3 and 4.
Here's the most amazing thing that impressed me with Saniyya and her work ethic. So not only did she have to learn how to play like Venus Williams, one of the greatest tennis players of all time, Saniyya is left-handed. She had to learn with her off hand. And I was like, that is amazing. Because I can imagine me like having to throw. Right? Like if I had to use my off hand, it would be a mess. And she learned how to play like that, what you saw with her off hand. It was amazing to watch.
Yeah, what was remarkable was what you saw on camera, on screen, was a true representation of who these young women were off screen. They fell in love with each other. And sometimes Ray would just let the camera roll, and they wouldn't know that the cameras were rolling. And some of that you saw in the movie. I agree with you. We are safe in our future because of Demi, Singleton, and Saniyya, Sidney. And I cannot say enough about how poised these young women are, how gracious they are, how intelligent they are. They are intelligent actors, right?
Absolutely.
They're intelligent actors, and I learn from them every day. And then we had Michaela Bartholomew, we had Layla Crawford and Danielle Lawson, who played the other sisters. We had a gift in those young women, right?
Yes, yeah. They created that family energy at all times. You know, they just, what you saw is how they were interacting, and it was, you know, it wasn't just young people having fun. They understood as actors that would bleed into the screen. So they were really sharp with being together and united and joyful in that way as sisters, in order that when the camera was rolling, it wasn't a big transition. They were really smart like that.
I have to ask you guys, the pivotal scene that we have to talk about is in the kitchen. Shot by the great Oscar winner, Robert Elswit. We brought a lot of attention to that with great music by Chris Bowers. Can you two talk about how you got to that place where this scene has a big explosion and Aunjanue throws down the gauntlet and destroys Will Smith on screen?
And we have to be careful because every time we talk about it, see, she slipped back into it already. We were talking about it. We talked about the scene the other day, and Aunjanue started talking, and she's saying, you know, and then the moment came, you know, so what I had to say, oh, hey, we okay?
Flashbacks.
I'm Will. But no, we really heated up that day. It's you know, as an actor, it's such a beautiful thing when you get in there, and you we didn't have it, you know, at the start of the day. We were trying to find it, so we were just in there letting it rip, you know. And as you know, an actor in my position, I've been doing it for a whole lot of years, and it is so powerful to get on my heels in a scene, and Aunjanue was not playing, you know. And it's like those shifts and those turns and moves, and when someone's alive in it, it like forces you to step up. So it was a beautiful dance that day.
I would just say real quick, we didn't rehearse that. We didn't rehearse it. We just both worked to make sure that the words felt right. And, I think you said something the other day that I think was great, is that you had lived with Richard for a while, I had lived with Oracene for a while, so we were very lived in our positions, and we came in ready to defend those positions, so, yeah.
We got shut down, we shot 2 months or something, like a little less than 2 months, and then we got shut down for the pandemic, and we were down for almost 3 months, so everybody had to, maintain their characters over that time. And Saniyya and Demi came back probably 1.5 inches taller. But for Aunjanue and I, that time to let the characters marinate, when we came back, it was much more lived in. And even the reunion of it felt very family. When we were finally allowed to be back on the set, it turned out to be a real plus for us in terms of knowing our characters and our performances.
Awesome, thank you. Real stupid question: who's better at tennis, you or Aunjanue?
I think Aunjanue got a little bit better than me. No?
Are you lying? They tried to have me out there. Oh. I mean, I had my lessons 3 times a week for several weeks. Yeah, I did all the things.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I tried to take the tennis lessons, and I wanted less. I wanted to be authentic. I wanted to be from someone who knew Richard and all of that. So we found a guy, and we took lessons for about 15 minutes, and I was like, teach me. And we go, and he stops, and he says, listen, he's like, can I be honest with you? Richard didn't know how to play tennis. He said, everything Richard did is supposed to be wrong, right? He would drop the ball and bounce it for the girls. He's like, nobody would do that. He was like, so I have to teach you the wrong way to do the things that Richard did. He said, Richard understood it, but Richard actually couldn't play tennis. And I was like, it made it that much more amazing for me that he understood it intellectually and he studied it, but he wasn't actually a tennis player, so hence, because if there were any tennis players looking at me hitting the ball. Like,
I know, we're about to challenge you to the tennis guy. I think we can beat you, so I know we're feeling good about it. My last question for you guys, and I'm going to open up to the audience for a question or two. I call this film the Rocky of tennis movies. Like, I felt like that. As soon as it was over, I was like, let me get to the court. I could do something, and I can't. But I believe I could, and that's the magic of it. It's edited so beautifully by Pamela Martin, and everything that... shout out those artisans all the time. What is the message you want people to take away from your experience on this film? How will you carry this experience with you moving forward?
I am such a huge fan of Venus and Serena. They are younger than I am, but they're heroines of my life for how they have presented Black womanhood on and off the courts. And they were part of a family that were equal partners in making that dream come alive. And the Williams family, love was their weapon in a world that tried to destroy them. And you can clap for that. Yeah. And I know that is something that Black families have, but that's something that we rarely see. So I'm so excited that we'll see that. We'll see a Black family loving each other. An extraordinary way, but it's not rare. So I'm excited about Black folks showing love for each other on screen.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm most proud of in this security.
Oh, no, they're saying very good. Oh, hi.
No, I didn't want them to hear what I'm about to say anyway. I'm joking, I'm playing, that's all right. That's funny to me. I'm sorry.
It's going to be funny if that was Spielberg. You're just like,
no, just the I'm sorry. What was the question?
Life, I think, no.
It's okay.
Parenting experience moving forward.
What do we have people to take away? I'm sorry. I think as Aunjanue was saying, the power of family and how delicate dreams are and the importance of who you surround yourself with. Right? It's like, a dream before it's realized, it's like, a match in the wind, and it's so important to get your team to get around it, and protect the flame until you can get it going, right? And it's like, just one off comment at the wrong time can shut you down for a month. You know what I mean? And it's like, it is so important when you have a dream and you have something you want to build and something you want to birth into the world, who you choose to share it with and who you choose to surround yourself with is everything. There's going to be days when you're down and you want to quit and you just want to end it, and with this family, they were each other's dream insulation, and I just think it's so important to who you choose to share your dreams with and who is next to you when you fall. And what do they say? When you fall and you want to quit on the road, does the person say, see, I told you it was stupid for moving to LA? Or do they help you and pick you up? And they say, no, you're not quitting today. You can quit when I'm not here, but you getting up and you're going to keep walking today. And it's like, that's that was one of the critical things with this family.
It's awesome. I'm going to trip outside and see if you pick me up.
I'll give it a shot.
Question right here. Yes, you can stand. You have to talk really loud. We don't hear you.
I can emote. So good. Hi, my name is Stacey. I love the film. I'm big fans of both of you. Stacey. I had a question about this movie, in a way, kind of redeems Richard Williams. We all know kind of the past thoughts about him and being overbearing, etc. And this movie really does put that in perspective. Yeah. But what we also saw were his limits and the things that could be considered flaws and limitations. How important was it to have those moments? And how did you go about really kind of using that to flesh out his character?
Yeah, I think that was one of the aspects that was most interesting for me with Richard is, I didn't want to clean it up. Richard was a hard man to interact with, and he was, deeply flawed. He had really, really great qualities. I would say anybody, if you go to your Instagram, Serena posted a video a couple hours ago of Richard with his granddaughter. And it's a very rare image because, he doesn't want to be on camera or anything. and he's teaching her how to ride a bike, and it says everything. So when you get a minute, teach her how to ride a bike. It says everything. You'll know everything you need to know about the beauty of his heart. It's like she's riding a bike and she's going, and it's like the best thing that ever happened in life to him. And he doesn't have shoes on, and he's filming her, you know, and as she goes by, he says, "You go on, girl, you the best," right? And it's like, and he's so engaged. And it was like, that's the part that was the beautiful part of Richard Williams. But he has been so battered and brutalized by this world. Outside of his family, he is unwilling to let others in. He is completely and totally unwilling to risk being hurt by anybody other than his family. This world, you know, has essentially lost Richard Williams in that way. So it creates an interesting dichotomy with that, you know, that I hope I was able to portray on camera.
One more, gentleman in the blue shirt. Yep. Yeah. Can you stand up just so people can hear you? Sorry.
Hi, my name is Jordan Spalding. I'm an actor. You guys both inspire me. You were absolutely incredible in this film. But that's not
Acting like I'm not sitting here, but okay.
You both were incredible. But my question is, what was the funniest thing that happened on set while making this film?
Come on, Aunjanue, I know you got it. I know you got it. Come on.
What's fun? We did have some.
What it will do. What it will do. We'll do something.
The days you came, it seems.
I'm trying to think what was something that was silly on set. The girls loved the fart day. Because we got that story from Venus and Serena. So they were on set that day. And they were telling us that Richard would do that in meetings as soon as somebody said something that he didn't like, you know. So they were on set that day. So it's like, if you give me a license to fart, it's like, you know. So I had a lot of fun that day. The girls really enjoyed that.
Were they real?
They were real. Well, a couple of them, yeah. A couple of them, yeah.
Guys, unfortunately, we don't have time for any more questions.
One more.
One more. You pick. I'm not going to be last one. Yeah,
a question. To just let you guys know what a godsend this movie is. And
she was saying what a godsend this movie is.
What a godsend your performances are.
Yeah.
What a godsend the family.
Thank you.
It's a spiritual movie. It really is. It's based on a higher power.
Yeah.
Right? And that's who he was. And the family, they were destined because it was from a higher power, a higher place.
And that was one of the things that Miss Oracene was really the center of faith, and that was one of the first questions we asked her. It was like, so this idea, Richard comes and he writes a plan for 2 kids that y'all don't even have yet, and like, you know, he comes with this prophecy. And, you know, Miss Oracene said that, you know, the plan wasn't crazy to her because she answers to someone higher than Richard Williams. She took it as a prophecy that wasn't coming from Richard, that it was coming from above. And she knew what her role in that was. And we asked her about, you know, did you ever doubt? And she said, you know, there was no doubt and there was no fear, because as far as I'm concerned, those are the opposite of God. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you guys for coming to my PTA meeting today.
I'm sorry, right here.
Oh, wait. Yeah. He wants more.
My name is Christopher, but you can call me Chris.
Your name's Christopher, but I can call you Chris.
I remember in the scenes once he was being like hit and beat up.
Yes.
How do you fake that?
How do you fake being hit and beat up? All right, here, come here. Come on. So here, you come on, Alvin, come on. All right, so here, so I'm gonna do something. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do that, right? And you just turn your head when I go. All right, and don't fall down the steps. So, come on, that's right here.
All the instant gift in. Thank you, Aunjanue.
So, where is I'll just go. There you go. And then you just put it in a scene. And so I need you to say, man, where's my money? Okay.
Where's my money?
We have Saniyya, Demi, and Chris. That's good. Future Friday. Thank you for that. Guys, I just want to end this by saying I thoroughly enjoyed my time with you, but also, only I can say this because I'm the Film Awards editor at Variety. I will see you on March 27th, whatever happens there. Thank you guys, and get home safely.
Thank you.
Well, can I take a picture? Can I on this one by
Brandon, come on, stop, right? I want you to the man.
Can I get a quick picture? So much.